Welcome to the Moonlight Tales. Before we begin, take a moment to get comfortable, settle in, breathe slowly, and let the day fade away. Tonight's tale is called The Silver Pines Diner. On a quiet mountain road, beneath steady rain and drifting mist, we come upon a warm glow in the night. A roadside diner, its neon sign shining through the drizzle, invites you in. Inside, the world slows, coffee steams, pie waits on silver trays, and the gentle rhythm of rain and quiet company surround you. Tonight, you'll rest in the calm embrace of the Silver Pines Diner. Now, close your eyes and still your mind as we begin our tale. You have been driving a long time. The sun set an hour ago, and the last color faded from the clouds until the whole sky turned a deep, gentle slate. The road is narrow and winding, a ribbon that threads between tall silhouettes of fir and cedar. Your headlights cast a steady cone ahead, bright on the drizzle that drifts through the air like a fine veil. The forest presses close. On the right, a steep slope climbs into darkness. On the left, the land falls away into a valley you can feel more than see. The scent of rain and pine resin filters through the vents, clean and cool. The lines on the road slide past in an even rhythm. The hum of the tires becomes a metronome for your breath. You lean back slightly, letting your shoulders drop. The day has been long, and the last stretch has been the quietest. No traffic, no billboards, only the occasional reflectors on the road that flare white and then vanish behind you. You pass a patch of fog that rises from the road like mist over water, softening the world into a dreamy haze. You follow the road as it curves left, then right, the wheel easy in your hands. The rhythm lulls you. You are not rushing. You are not late. You are simply traveling through a place that has had many nights like this, and many travelers like you. Your eyes trace the glimmer of water beading on the windshield. Your chest rises and falls. Fatigue arrives like a polite guest. It does not announce itself. It simply takes the empty seat beside you and waits. You blink longer than usual at a red reflector. You notice your jaw unclench. You feel the desire for warmth and light and stillness. You round a bend and see it. A glow ahead that does not belong to the road or the sky. Neon, warm and bright in the rain. The radiant lettering becomes clear as you draw closer. The Silver Pines Diner. Its name recalls the tall pines that surround the little building, and line the road. At night, when rain slicks their needles and moonlight touches them, the trees shimmer silver. Tonight they gleam in the drizzle, each droplet glinting like a diamond of light. The sign buzzes softly, reflected in the slick black of the parking lot. Its glow rippling across the puddles in a rhythm with the rain. The building sits back from the shoulder, a low, classic shape with a chrome edge that catches your headlights and throws them back in a friendly shimmer. Windows run the length of the front, glowing amber and soft. You signal, slow, and turn in. The tires roll over the wet gravel at the edge of the lot, then onto the smooth black top. You guide the car into a space near a low cedar that shakes rain from its branches whenever the breeze moves through. The neon sign makes a halo on the hood. You rest your hands on the wheel and watch the rain trail silver lines down the windshield. From the dark of the car, the world beyond becomes a small theater of color and light dancing in the rain. Red and blue from the sign, golden from the diner, silver from the moon peeking through the clouds to embrace the world below. You power off the engine. The car settles with a small sigh. The wipers stop mid-arc for a heartbeat, then return to rest. You slip out into the night and close the door gently behind you. The air is cooler than you expected. The rain light enough to bead on your jacket, rather than soak through. The scent of wet asphalt, evergreen, and a hint of coffee already threads through the dark. You lock the car and turn toward the diner. The walkway is a short stretch of concrete that glistens under a canopy. You step around a shallow puddle that throws the neon back at the sky. To your right, an old metal newspaper box stands like a quiet sentinel. To your left, a pair of planter boxes hold flowers, glossy with the rain. They soften the chrome edge of the building. You reach the door. The handle is cool in your hand, a solid piece of brushed steel that fits in your palm. Through the glass you see vinyl booths in deep red, a long counter with chrome stools, and a jukebox in the corner, its lights dimmed to a soft pulse. The world inside looks warm and slow. You open the door. A small bell on a spring gives a single clear chime. Warmth meets your face first, then the smell of coffee, butter, and sugar, with the unmistakable aroma of freshly baked pie. Everything is softened by rain on the windows. The fluorescents are warm and toned, and every reflective line of chrome holds a gentle glow, not a glare. You take a moment inside the door to let your eyes settle. A black and white checkerboard floor leads the way to the booths. A pie case sits on the counter, glass fogged slightly from the heat of the bulbs. Inside are wedges of apple and blackberry on silver trays. A bright lemon meringue with peaks that look like soft mountains, and a cherry pie with a lattice top like an old quilt. There are no crowds, no loud music, only a low conversation 2 booms away, pitched soft enough that it might as well be wind or water. A dishwasher hums far in the back, steady and slow. Somewhere a clock ticks in a lazy rhythm. A woman in a soft blue uniform lifts her eyes from behind the counter. She nods in welcome. A small smile that says you are seen, and you are not expected to be anything other than tired and ready to be comfortable. She gestures to the booths with a hand that has welcomed many weary travelers. There is no rush, no pressure, only an invitation to choose a spot and settle in. You walk to a booth by the window. The vinyl seat gives a small sigh as you slide in, then supports you with a gentle firmness. The table is a white laminate edged with chrome. A small glass vase holds a bouquet of wild flowers, likely picked from the surrounding forest, which makes it even more endearing. There is a napkin dispenser, a container of sugar with white and brown packets, salt and pepper shakers, and a small glass that cradles a tea light. The flame moves just enough to make the sugar packets cast tiny shadows. Outside the window, the lot is a geometry of reflections. The red neon script ripples across puddles, and the cedar tree sways enough to scatter droplets from its needles. You can almost feel the cold outside by looking at it, which makes the warmth inside feel deeper and more generous. The waitress comes by with a menu. Her voice is low and even, careful not to jar the calm of the room. "Coffee?" she asks, with the tone of someone who already knows the answer and is happy to hear it said aloud. You nod. "Something sweet with it," she adds, glancing toward the pie case. You nod again, and your eyes cut toward the blackberry. She reads the look easily, gives a small nod of her own, and moves away. She returns and sets a thick, white mug before you. It is heavy and warm, the ceramic holding heat like a gentle embrace. Steam rises and carries that deep, nutty scent that is richer in the evening than it is in the morning. She sets a small plate beside it, with a generous slice of blackberry pie. The crust flakes at the edge where the knife passed. The filling holds its shape, but looks ready to surrender to the first touch of a fork. "Take your time," she says, and leaves you to your thoughts and your pie. You cup the mug in both hands and take a slow breath over the surface. The warmth touches your lips and nose, and you feel it in your chest before you taste it on your tongue. The first sip is smooth and dark, with a hint of toasted sweetness. It invites a second, slower than the first. You lift the fork to the pie and make a careful cut. The pastry gives with a soft crackle. The berries release a small, glossy pool that glows under the light. You take a bite. The tartness meets the sugar in a way that feels like balance, not indulgence. You chew slowly and feel the tension loosen in tiny increments, like a series of knots untying themselves. You let your eyes move without focusing. You breathe. You look around. You are here. A chrome napkin holder reflects a wobbly version of the tea light. A salt shaker throws a little lighthouse beam on the table. The jukebox in the corner hums with its own quiet electricity, lit in soft bands of color that pulse like a steady heart. A small radio under the counter whispers a gentle tune, the volume set so low that you only notice it when you stop to hear it. You think about the road, about the curve where the neon appeared. You think about how often calm arrives like that, as if it had been there all along, waiting at the edge of your attention. The neon outside flickers gently, illuminating the rain like drops of light falling from the sky. You take another sip of coffee, smaller this time. You cut off a second bite of pie and let it sit on your tongue before you chew. You absorb the warmth through the mug, through the booth, and through the simple fact of being in a place that exists to welcome people who are traveling and tired. Your gaze drifts to the counter. A row of stools faces a laminated menu with milkshake flavors that evoke fond childhood memories. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. The pie case hums softly. In the back, a cook moves with the measured economy of someone who knows where every spatula lives. He slides a plate under the heat lamp and sets a paper note beside it with 2 fingers. There is no call out, only a small bell that taps once, as if mindful of the hour. Rain steps up for a few minutes and beads on the windows in quick patterns that race each other to the sill. Each droplet holds a tiny inverted world. The trees, the neon, the smudge of the sky. The light on the glass turns each droplet into a little point of attention. You watch one form grow, slide. Then you watch nothing at all for a long time. You lean back and let the booth hold you. Your jaw slackens. Your shoulders descend another fraction. You notice how your hands feel now that they are not gripping a wheel. You notice your breathing. Slower now, and deeper. The waitress returns and tops off the coffee 1/2 inch. No sound except the small thread of liquid against porcelain. She sets a small carafe on a warm plate near your elbow, so you will not have to ask. You thank her with a look and a smile, She returns it without making a moment of it. You sit with the mug between your hands and watch the room flatten into a pleasant blur. The colors pull their saturation from the neon and the red vinyl and the golden bulbs, blending into a palette that suits the night. You become aware of tiny specifics, as if each has raised a hand. The faint citrus of the dish soap on the cup, the rounded edge of the table that has been wiped 1,000 times until it gleams, the way the tea light finds the chrome straw holder and sends a thin stripe of white across it like a smile. You think, briefly, of all the other people who have sat here. Travelers with suitcases, workers with their late shifts, someone who came because it was raining and they did not want to be at home, someone who came because it was sunny and the road was open and they wanted a place to mark it. You imagine the conversations. You imagine the silences that felt like companionship. You let the thoughts fade like the gentle melody on the radio. You stir the coffee once without needing to, and then let the spoon rest on the saucer. The hour moves, but not in a way that needs attention. The road outside will go on curving under trees. The rain will keep its own time. The sign will buzz and glow until morning. Inside, you are in a pocket stitched from ordinary things, and the seam is strong. You slide your hand along the bench and feel the grain of the vinyl under your fingertips, a faint texture that brings back fond memories shared with friends. You rest your head against the tall booth back for a moment and close your eyes. The room does not change. It stays exactly as it is, and that is what you need. When you open your eyes again, the tea light is shortened a little, and the coffee is cooled to a pleasant, sippable warmth. You finish the last bite of pie, savoring the thin crust at the point of the slice where it turns crisp. You place your fork on the plate, set the napkin beside it, and fold your hands in your lap. The waitress appears with perfect timing. She does not ask if you want more, because she sees the contentment on your face. She sets a small glass of water on the table, without words. It tastes like the mountain rain, cold, clean, a little sweet. She says, "Stay as long as you like." You nod and offer a gentle smile in reply. You rest your forearms on the table and let your focus widen until the room is not a set of objects, but a single presence. You can feel the booth through your back, the floor through the soles of your shoes, the air on your cheek where the door sometimes opens and brings a thread of the outdoors with it. You can feel the gentle fatigue that brought you here taking off its coat and deciding to stay a while. Your eyelids lower part way, and the neon reflections blur into bands of color that drift like the surface of a slow river. You let your breathing match whatever rhythm is easiest. In through the nose, out through the mouth. No counting, no effort, just steady, soft air. You do not need to move. The world knows to move around you in small ways that do not disturb. A plate crosses the pass. A pencil writes a check. A towel folds over a damp glass. A door to the cold storage opens and closes. Each sound is a point of light that does not ask for your eye. It exists, then fades. There is a thought at the edge of your mind, gentle and small. It does not ask for analysis. It does not lean forward. It sits where it is and glows. It says that calm is sometimes a booth in a diner on a rainy night, where you do not need to explain where you have been or where you are going. And the coffee is warm, and the window is yours. It says that the road can wait, and that you can rest a while longer. You let that thought settle for a moment before drifting away. You slide to the far side of the booth and sit cornered by cushions. Your head finds the angle where the seat back supports your neck. You rest the side of your face on the vinyl. The texture is smooth and warm. You fold your hands over your stomach. You close your eyes fully now. You listen to the rhythm of yourself. You notice how the breath returns without you having to ask it to. You let your mouth soften, your tongue rest, your hands relax, so the fingers are not held, but simply placed. Your feet ease toward the rail under the table until your legs feel supported. The radio plays a song from long ago that you cannot name, and it moves through the air at the exact speed that your thoughts dissolve. The jukebox lights pulse, but your eyelids make the pulses into a warm, red darkness that has no edges. The neon outside brightens and dims as the rain thickens and thins, and that becomes part of the same slow weather within. You are not in the car. You are not on the road. You are not required to choose anything for the next long while. You are here, inside the calm that the sign promised before you could make out the letters. Tonight, you will rest before you travel again. You will do that here, with the steady presence of quiet company who ask for nothing from you. The booth becomes a harbor. The table becomes a shoreline. The window becomes a view of tranquility. If sleep wants to arrive while you sit, you will let it sit beside you. If it wants to arrive later, when you recline in your parked car seat for a few moments before you set out, you will give it that time. There is nothing sharp in any direction. There is only the soft and steady. Your breath slows even more. Your shoulders turn heavier, as if gravity is kindly increased just for them. Your face feels peaceful. Your jaw unclenches and stays that way. You do not notice the exact moment when the room becomes a lullaby. You only notice that the rain sounds like a blanket being shaken, then laid flat. You only notice that the neon has become the warmest color you can imagine, and it lives behind your closed eyes now. You only notice the feeling in your hands, which is the feeling of holding nothing and having everything you need. You are safe. You are warm. You are exactly where you need to be. The road will wait. The night will keep the room. Your body will do the rest. You drift deeper into the quiet, into the calm embrace of the Silver Pines Diner. And with that, dear dreamer, our tale for tonight comes to an end. I hope it brought you some small measure of peace and comfort. Until our next tale unfolds, I bid you good night and sweet dreams.